Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood, specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California.
This is what I look for. When I see a success, I'm looking for anything
to say that they didn't do it on their own?
Detain it.
The long-standing tension between JayZ and 50 Cent appears to be reaching a boiling point, and what's unfolding now feels less like music industry drama and more like the prelude to a cultural reckoning. According to numerous insiders, the long-rumored documentary 50 Cent has been quietly crafting isn't just real, it's nearly complete. This isn't some half-baked expose. It's reportedly a high-budget, highly polished piece of investigative filmmaking designed to weave together decades of accusations, feuds, and whispered stories that have never made it into the mainstream. What makes this situation particularly explosive is the claim that JayZ is taking aggressive legal steps before the film even premieres, not to discredit it after the fact, but to try and kill it entirely, stop it cold before it ever streams.
I think a lot of people thought that he was just joking around. It turns out he's not, so this is actually a real project that's being made under his G unit.
That kind of move doesn't just escalate the stakes, it raises uncomfortable questions. What is in this documentary that makes silence and legal firepower the only acceptable response? Initially, the project was said to focus on Diddy and his ongoing avalanche of legal issues, but somewhere along the way, the lens shifted. Multiple sources now suggest JayZ became a central figure during the course of the investigation. A key turning point appears to have been the renewed attention on the rahiye Satterthwaite paternity story, a case that's lingered for over a decade without resolution. But it's no longer just about one young man seeking acknowledgement. Insiders claim several individuals with alleged familial connections to JayZ have stepped forward, ready to speak publicly. No masks, no filters. If those interviews make it into the final cut, it could completely shatter the...
He took them to some apartment building, and you know, they did what they did in there, you know, talked a little bit, had a good time, party, and I guess had, you know, I can't fully talk as my mom because I'm not my mom. I'm just telling you guys what she told me. It was just, and I honestly just believe it, you know. It's just no
crafted public image of JayZ as a fiercely loyal husband and father. What's even more alarming to those close to the matter are the allegations of a sustained effort to suppress these kinds of claims. Longtime industry players whisper about a network of quiet settlements, sealed legal filings, and non-disclosure agreements, actions designed to neutralize threats before they gain momentum. These stories have circulated behind closed doors for years. The difference now, 50 Cent reportedly has both the resources and the legal team to pull it all together in a way that platforms can actually broadcast, bolstered by documentation and first-hand testimony. That's not just celebrity gossip, that's reputation, demolition. And with the timing as volatile as it is, the threat becomes even more dangerous. JayZ is already under renewed legal scrutiny as rahiye continues pushing for a court-ordered DNA test, an effort that's been consistently deflected through legal maneuvering, disputed jurisdiction, and procedural shutdowns. The trail of court records shows a pattern: challenges around property ownership, jurisdictional loopholes, and delays that have allowed the case to fade into technical obscurity. But in the court of public opinion, that kind of maneuvering doesn't look like innocence. It looks like evasion. To make matters worse, JayZ's name has now been attached to a lawsuit involving an alleged incident tied to a Diddy-hosted party dating back to 2001.
So that's just competitive energy,
competitiveness.
You know? All right, so you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really rock with him.
Okay,
like
damn, all right. I didn't know what that meant. Then. All right.
More shadow creeping closer. In that context, even the hint of another major scandal, packaged and distributed on a global streaming platform, would represent a full-blown crisis. Add to this the complicated personal dynamic between 50 Cent and JayZ, and the whole picture starts to look like a carefully calculated detonation. These two have shared stages and traded bars, but they've never been genuine allies. 50 has often been blunt in saying their relationship is all business, nothing more. But lately, the tone has shifted. His online posts, some deleted, some not, have taken sharper jabs at JayZ's legal battle.
After that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about JayZ and his
and public appearances, including snide remarks aimed at his potential involvement in major televised events like the Super Bowl. This isn't playful banter anymore. It's the kind of consistent pressure that precedes a major blow. And by all reports, that blow is coming in the form of this documentary. If the Diddy expose hits first, as expected, and delivers the seismic shock insiders predict, the follow-up, aimed at JayZ, could be even more disruptive, not just to his brand, but to the legacy he spent decades building, because once the floodgates open, there's no containing what comes next. The growing noise around JayZ and the more shadowy corners of his past is becoming harder to ignore. One of the more incendiary claims tied to 50 Cent's near-finished documentary is that it won't just rehash the rahiye paternity saga or mention alleged additional children, it will dive deeper into the machinery that's long worked behind the curtain to shield both JayZ and Diddy from public fallout. Former insiders are said to be cooperating, describing off-the-record meetings where hush deals.
JayZ got his put by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it after. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your
were arranged. Stories were squashed with a single phone call, and pressure was applied to silence those threatening to speak out. Nothing official has been confirmed. No word from ROC Nation. No legal rebuttal from JayZ's team, but even the possibility that this footage and testimony exists is enough to set off alarms across the entertainment industry. Legal departments are reportedly bracing themselves as platforms explore how to package the project. The irony, of course, is that the more aggressively JayZ tries to bury the film, the more appealing it becomes to viewers. In today's streaming landscape, the content you're not supposed to see is often the first thing audiences want to click on. The Streisand effect is very real, and it looms like a storm cloud over this entire situation. Sources with ties to past negotiations suggest that the buzz around the documentary has only intensified as JayZ's camp moves to block it. Streaming executives reportedly see controversy as marketing gold, and if the film includes never-before-seen evidence, dates, photos, emails, first-hand recollections, particularly from those claiming to be blood relatives, the conversation could shift.
Rap mogul JayZ is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include JayZ. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both.
From online speculation to something far more difficult to discredit, complicating things further is the decades-deep connection between JayZ and Diddy. Their alliance has been described over the years as a brotherhood, rooted in shared power and strategic collaboration. They've popped bottles together on yachts and stages, flaunted their billionaire status, and appeared as twin pillars of hip-hop's corporate ascent. But with Diddy now buried under a mountain of criminal allegations, JayZ's silence has started to feel conspicuous.
I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me.
50 Cent has wasted no time calling that "you want to find out," using memes and pointed remarks to paint him as conveniently absent. Should the documentary frame them as co-architects of a culture of cover-ups, that silence becomes harder to spin. And then there's the emotional core, the people said to be coming forward as possible children of JayZ. If their accounts align, details about their upbringing, the identity of their mothers, how contact was sought or denied, paints a picture that can't easily be dismissed as clout-chasing. Even without legal proof, the weight of shared stories can strike a nerve. In an era where public image equals capital, a narrative of hidden families and evasion is a direct blow to JayZ's brand, his business ventures, and his place in the cultural hierarchy. Some of these individuals have reportedly been waiting in the wings for years, talking quietly to journalists, hoping for a chance to be heard without being crushed. What they lacked was the platform and the protection. 50 Cent, it seems, is now giving them both, with a team backing the production, legal support in place, and a distribution channel eager to deliver.
Why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see
the story to millions. This isn't just a content drop, it's a campaign. If the film stitches these interviews together with JayZ's own music, past interviews and brand messaging, the result could be devastating in its contrast. His lyrics and public statements, often crafted to elevate his image, could be weaponized against him with brutal editorial precision. And now, with legal filings reportedly being drafted to halt the film's release, the countdown has begun. Every day that ticks by invites the risk of leaks, counterattacks, or teaser clips strategically released by 50 Cent's camp to maintain momentum. The more JayZ tries to shut it down, the more headlines it generates, creating a self-sustaining media storm that feeds itself.
No artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't.
If this attempt at suppression ends up making the film the most talked about release of the year, the damage won't be limited to JayZ's reputation alone. What makes the situation particularly volatile is his long-standing partnership with Diddy for decades. They stood as symbols of success, resilience, and influence, but that image is beginning to collapse. With Diddy's name tied to a spiraling number of charges, their once celebrated bond now risks being viewed as a liability. Whispers from those close to the production say that 50 Cent's film won't shy away from making that connection crystal clear. And when that happens, what was once whispered in private may finally hit the screen loud, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore. Draw a subtle thread between that implosion and the elite circles JayZ moved within. There's no need for a direct accusation, just place the two men in proximity during pivotal moments now shadowed by unease. The once celebrated white parties, long synonymous with prestige and power, have taken on a more ominous tone in retrospect. Industry insiders have, for years, murmured about unsettling undercurrents, guests who appeared far too young, shadowy figures slipping through without credentials, and a secure